Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10 of Shoe Booty Sports. I'm your host, Graham Zachary Powell the first,
Dropping the
with
middle name.
with co-host as always, Bradley D Money Brown. Are you a first or second?
I'm a first.
Okay. BDB 1. So there you go.
Yeah.
All
Just told
right.
everyone my password. Okay.
There you go. Episode 10. We are at double digits now, so big time. But Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. We'll go ahead and spit that out there. Rhino Races is a virtual race series. You could visit rhinoraces.com for details of their races. And you can also register there. They offer 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and a unique challenge called the Rhino Ultra. Visit rhinoraces.com today. And also, uh, you can find, you can of course see the video of us here on YouTube, but you can also follow us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts as well. Just search Shoe Booty Sports, give us a follow, and boom, you're all set.
So many
So
places.
yeah, we try to please, try to be on every platform, within reason. So anyway, we're gonna dive right into it. As usual, interesting week in sports. Us being Arkansas alums and Arkansas natives. Big news for our Hogs. The Razorbacks' best player, Traelyn Burks, junior wide receiver from Warren, Arkansas, wide receiver U for high school anyway, in the state of Arkansas. Yeah, Traelyn Burks declared on Wednesday, January 8th, or excuse me, Wednesday, December 8th. Uh, Announced that he was opting out of the bowl game against Penn State, the January 1st bowl game, which is the Outback Bowl, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And he is entering his name in the draft, which nobody's surprised he's going pro, as he should.
No.
But because he's a top 20 prospect as far as I'm concerned. And
Go make that
will,
money.
oh yeah, absolutely. But how do we feel personally about Traelyn Burks skipping out on the bowl game and going pro? I feel like people have become more accepting of it as opposed to what they were when it kind of first started becoming a trend several years ago. What are your thoughts and feelings about it, Brad?
I was kind of a little, surprised, or well, I was a little hopeful that he would stay for it. But I can't blame him for, opting out and concentrating on the NFL draft. I mean, he's going to be a first rounder, should be a first rounder. So
He'll definitely be a first rounder. I think he'll be a top 20 pick. My initial reaction was just I don't want to say disappointed, but I was like you. I was hoping he would stick around for the bowl game. If anything, just kind of a part of me is kind of like, finish what you started with your team. This is part of the season. Go finish the season. Uh, that was my kind of initial reaction, and I still part of me feels that way, but the other part of me can understand too. He seems to be. I'm sure he's probably a little beat up coming into or by the end of this season. I'm sure he was a little beat up. It seemed like we tried to get him the ball. Arkansas has tried to get him the ball every play, as they should.
as they should, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is a huge difference maker and was for Arkansas, and he is on the offensive side of the ball, the biggest reason they scored points. So I can, yeah, I would like to see. I would have liked to have seen him in one more game, maybe selfishly.
I mean, he's right there if he decided to play, he's right there ready to break a couple more records. But
yeah, I don't think records are a concern at this point.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think it ever was. It wasn't like he walked into a pleasant situation when he stepped on campus as a freshman. Like, but he is without a doubt as big a part as anything or as anyone else as far as the turnaround of this program. So a big part of me is also like, you did everything you could for your school. Go get your money. I wish him nothing but the best. Um, business wise, it makes sense because like I think he's without a doubt a top 20 pick. But a lot of other players have done that in the past, and it's not worked out, in their favor. I don't want to say of similar talent to him, other than one guy in particular. That really stood out. The bit Christian McCaffrey is the one that comes to mind as far as who did it. One of
It
the
working
first
out
ones to
for him.
do it. Yes, and it working out. But a lot of other guys have done the same thing, and it hasn't worked out for them. Who was the West Virginia quarterback that did it several years ago, around the time McCaffrey did it? Exactly.
I don't
So
know. Couldn't tell you.
exactly. And I
I
didn't
think
I didn't take the time to give it a Google beforehand because I didn't. That was that kind of proved the point for me. We don't remember who that is. So
didn't know Johnny Football go early too.
no, Johnny Football played. He played in the bowl
Oh,
game against Duke. Remember, he had that massive comeback on New Year's
didn't he?
Eve.
Oh, I thought he opted out early though.
No, he
Or
finished. He finished the season.
oh,
Because he had
his
the.
senior year though. He didn't. He wasn't around for his senior year though, right?
Well, no, but I mean, you should go pro if you can, but finish
Yeah.
this. But part of
Yeah.
me is like finish the season, and that's what I mean. The bowl game is part of the season,
True.
so I can understand how it rubs some people the wrong way. It's like finish what you started. At the same time, if your teammates are cool with it and you legitimately have a shot to go make a lot of money, at which Burks does, and it appears his team is more than cool with it, and he was nothing but classy in his announcement on social media about it. I'm like, go get your money, kid.
Did D-Mac, did he opt out?
No, he played in the bowl game.
Okay.
Yeah, when they got smoked by
When
Missouri.
they got stopped, yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Daniels.
That was what?
That Chase Daniels
Daniel.
quarterback.
But
Yeah.
yes.
He looked like a Heisman Trophy winner that day.
Well, Arkansas was also playing that was their first game without Houston Nutt.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can remember that. So they were all but. I mean, maybe they should have opted out of that game, but I remember McFadden getting his last carry. It got him over 100 yards, and then I think it was Reggie Herring, who was the interim coach, just pulled him, and because the game was, he was like, all right, you got your 100, go sit down.
Yeah.
But best legacy at Arkansas. All right, you did it. Go sit down. But see, that was the thing. Those guys still played, so I can understand why some would feel a little raw about wanting your best player to go into the bowl game with your team and finish out the season. But my question is, how do we feel about it personally, that decision, and how should the fan base as a whole react? And here's my take on it. Personally, I'm conflicted about it. I'd like to see him finish what he started. At the same time, I get it from a business perspective, especially. It's all individual. It depends on the individual. If you're the West Virginia quarterback that we can't remember your name, you probably should have stuck around for the bowl game. If you're Christian McCaffrey, it was probably the right call. If it's Traelyn Burks, it was probably the right call, especially if your teammates are okay with it and you're okay with it. But it's still, part of me is like, go finish what you started. That's my personal perspective on it. As a fan base, I think the fans, and not all of them will, of course, in any fan base, but the vast majority should be fully supportive of this decision. And the reason I say that is you want to attract more players that can do this exact same thing, that have the opportunity to do this exact same thing. And if they see you dogging Traelyn Burks for making this decision, I don't know that that's going to sway a recruit's mind, just overall. Well, I'm not going to go there because the fan base, crapped on him on his way out or when he opted out of the bowl game. I don't know that's necessarily going to change a recruit's mind, but at the same time, it's not a good look. And I think the fan base as a whole for any school, if you want to attract players like that have the opportunity to do that, that can put themselves in position to do that, like Burks has, like McCaffrey has, the list goes on, and the list will continue to go on, then you need to be fully supportive of this. And really at least publicly. Say what you want behind closed doors to your buddies, but don't blast on social media, and especially tag these players. You should never tweet at a player anyway.
No.
It's just goofy. Even if you're supporting him, yeah, it just seems goofy,
He's my friend.
Yeah, he gave me a like,
Yeah.
But it's just goofy to tweet at a player anyway, but just be fully supportive of it. And I feel like that's the way that a fan base as a whole should react. Your thoughts? Am I sharp or square on that?
A square. Does that mean you're good on that? Is that square?
No. That's the opposite. You're the gambler. You should know this.
And sharp.
And I say you're the gambler. You should know this. Is it I mean, Huey in the news wrote a whole song about it. It's hip to be square, but they're just square's lame.
No.
I mean, come on, you were born in the 80s. You know this. Maybe. I don't know. You got Huey Lewis in the news on your playlist, right?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, big fan, aren't they?
I mean, that is a
Back to the
Future
Future
song. Yes, it's that one.
Oh yeah.
That's the new wave genre for
Boom.
you younger folks at home. But Patrick Bateman is not really into new wave, but he likes Huey Lewis in the news. American Psycho reference. But going back to Arkansas Penn State. So Penn State was already favored going into that. How much does this move the line in Vegas as far as them being favored?
I don't think it really moves the line. I mean,
I'm pretty
sure Vegas betting on him not coming or opting out for it. I would imagine.
Yeah, probably so. The wise guys.
I mean,
they know their stuff.
It opened up at what, a 2.5 point spread for Penn State. So I haven't looked at it since then. But I don't know if it's moved. But
I imagine there's going to be a lot of running the football by committee. And who's KJ going to throw it to? Who's the second leading receiver for Arkansas? Exactly.
Wilson. I don't know.
I was like, I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I kind of have a feeling Knox is going to have a big game.
I do like how they switched him to tight end.
Yeah.
I think that was a great decision. But because he could do that at the next level. Now if they ask him to block and stuff, that's going to be pretty different. He's going to be strictly line up in the slot.
As long as he don't do any of them Tim Tebow blocks, he'll be fine.
Yeah, well, that's probably what you're going to get. I mean, he's a big dude though, but
yeah,
I mean, so is Tebow. But yeah, it didn't work out for him. It's probably a good thing it didn't work out for him, considering the way things are going for the Jags and Urban Meyer. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
but
that's a different story.
Yes, but basically, Traelyn Burks. Yeah, we would have loved to seen you for one more game, but
sure.
Yeah, go get your money, man. Go get your money, man.
Go rock out, man.
You killed it at Arkansas. The best wide receiver to ever come out of the University of Arkansas, as far as I'm concerned.
Where do you see
But
him going? Real quick.
probably around the 20s, late teens, early 20s.
Teams? Any hopefuls? I haven't looked at the picks. They're projected picks anyways, but
I'd love to see him go to New England.
oh dude, that'd be sweet. But
That'd be amazing.
yeah,
He could drop. He could drop that far. I mean, you got Jameson Williams at Alabama. But the thing is, Belichick with skill guys, though. Now he's changed the way he drafts. He has done that. And by that I mean he's basically just handed the draft over in a sense to to the general managers or manager and those folks, that staff, because he knows he's whiffed on skill players, and he's whiffed on skill guys in the draft.
no.
What receiver do they have that can get open on their own? Like Hunter Henry is pretty reliable, but that's a hard dude to cover at tight end. I would love to see him go to New England. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. Probably not. But it would be very cool to see. That's my hopeful. What about
Yeah.
you? Or have you thought about it that far?
I've just thought about where I don't want him to go. That would be
Ja-
like the Jets. Or
Jacksonville,
yeah.
the Jets. Like Jacksonville is way worse than I thought they would be.
Yeah, they are.
Like that is an awful roster. Like poor Trevor Lawrence just
And
doesn't have a chance.
then
I
he
mean, they're lucky
say,
to have won 2 games.
yeah, didn't they say he'd never lost a game throughout high school and college or something like that?
Well,
He's catching up now,
no, he lost.
or just one game.
No, I think he lost 1 or 2 in high school. He only lost 2 in college. He lost to LSU and Ohio State in college, and those are the only 2 losses in 3 years. And so you can imagine what this is like for him now. I mean, the dude is a flat out winner. And I mean, I'll never forget what they did to Alabama his freshman year. And
Yeah.
and his
Yeah,
role in
surprising.
it. I mean, he just lit them up on the ground too, not just with his arm.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate that for him, but like I said, we'll get to Urban and the Jags later on. But first we'll go to the Thursday night football game with the Steelers and Vikings. How much of that game did you catch, if at all?
So I tuned in a couple minutes before halftime and just kind of had it on for background noise. And just, after the Steelers scored a couple times, I was like, well, Vikings would be the team for them to make a comeback against, because they seem to be, dropping these things every other week. But yeah, still can't believe they made it that close though.
Yeah, it's pretty much what happened. I mean, that's been the Vikings all year. They
Yeah.
can't hang on to a lead. But I wasn't surprised what I was watching. It's hard to surprise. I don't get surprised at anything anymore. But even that was still a little surprising. But see, my takeaway, Big Ben has gotten flack all year just for being old and immobile.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, Big Ben wasn't the problem. Ben was throwing some darts out there. He was throwing some straight darts and some straight dimes, just dropping them in.
But
I mean,
then other times he's not throwing those, and he's throwing them directly into defenders' hands. And
he's doing that too. But how much of that is miscommunication with the wide receiver? How many times is that the wide receiver? You can see on Ben's face.
His only veteran receiver is freaking Chase Claypool, right?
Yeah, I guess. Are we going to call him a veteran? I mean, he's been around for
considering
a few years.
I mean, yeah, what, Juju's hurt, so
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, those were his veteran guys, like, if you want to call them. They've been around for, the longest. So yeah, he's really don't have anybody. I mean, they've got a Najee Harris. I mean, they've got a great running back. I mean, yeah, I don't think Ben's the problem. It's these young receivers and miscommunication, like what you're saying.
It's the young receivers. It's the line. They can't block
Yeah,
for him.
well, yeah.
How many times? I mean, I can't tell you how many times Ben snapped it and had somebody in his mouth. Just had him wrapped up. I mean, there's nothing he could do. And like I said, he was throwing that throw he made at the end of the game to potentially tie it to that tight end. He could not have dropped it in there any better than he did. Now it was a tough catch, but that was the only place you could throw it. And if you go back and look at that game on the replays, I mean, it was good coverage. On a lot of those throws, it was terrific coverage. Ben was just making Hall of Fame
Yep.
throws. He was making the Hall of Fame throws that he does. That's why he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and why he's got two Super Bowl rings and has been to another. But even at his age of, I think he's 38 at this point, I don't think Ben's the problem. I think you just got a really young and not very disciplined and not as talented football team. And really, they're lucky to have the record they do, even though it's not that
Very
impressive.
lucky, yeah.
But they made a game of it. They fought, and that was the other thing with Ben. You could see him on the field. He was having to coach the guys on the field. He was having to correct them after every play. Somebody was doing something wrong every play, and Ben is over there correcting them. And you can see the frustration on his face. He's doing the absolute best he can to keep it together.
Especially when they couldn't snap the ball, man.
Yeah, to keep it together and not lose his cool. But it's just it's got to be frustrating because it's not happening. It's not coming together. It kind of did at the end, but it's a little too late at that point.
Yeah.
But going back to that, or going to the other side of the football, this question gets asked every week, but it's seems to be necessary to be asked every week. Is Kirk Cousins a good quarterback? And for those listening to us on Spotify,
dude, I've been asking myself that. How many seasons have we been asking this question?
we ask it every week.
Some weeks he just goes out and rocks out, and other weeks he goes out and just gives it away. Like
we ask this question every week, but it's legit because we don't really know. You look at his statistics, you'd say, yeah, that's a good quarterback. The eye test, not so much. He's just not consistent. Now he'll throw some darts. The one he threw to, gosh, I can't remember if it was Jefferson or he threw a couple deep balls that were just spot on. They were dime throws. He'll do that. He's just not consistent with it, and that's the problem. And then he'll do some things where you're just like, what were you thinking? But he did have two picks Thursday, and that's the thing about Kirk Cousins. He's not turned the ball over this year. His touchdown to interception ratio has been terrific this year. And that's part of what has kind of put him up a little bit in the, okay, maybe he is a good quarterback conversation. But the Vikings have been consistent with just starting to give the game away all year. But they held this off, but they ran the football with Dalvin Cook like crazy. I would know very well of that because I had Alexander Mattison starting on my fantasy team, and I did not know Dalvin Cook was coming back until
I had Cook starting.
Yeah, I didn't. And I would have lost anyway, which I'm going to give a rest in peace to my fantasy team here at the end. But at the end of this episode, but yeah, I did not know this. I did not know Dalvin Cook was coming back for this game. And so I got 2 whole points out of Alexander Mattison, who's now in COVID protocol because he's not been vaccinated and either has symptoms or has been exposed. So
I think I've seen somewhere where the Browns put like 7.
Yes, I saw that too.
Today.
Yeah, pray for Baker. Everybody pray for Baker. I think his entire offense is in protocol, including Jarvis Landry, and I think his whole offensive line.
Dude.
I want to say I saw that. So at least they got a win Sunday over Baltimore
Yeah.
without Lamar Jackson. But
Because you know who started Lamar Jackson? This
oh,
guy, he got me a whole 1 point.
hey, well, Madison
6
got me too.
points.
Madison got me
Dude.
too. So, oh, that's rough. Yeah, I
Yeah,
started Kirk Cousins.
I
That's
really
the
want
other
to
reason
change
I
my
asked.
name. I really want to change that team's name from Dude, Where's Lamar to
No,
something else.
that's exactly
Well,
perfect though.
it'd be 2 of those words.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect name, dude. Where's
Oh
Lamar?
yeah. Yeah.
Because that's
He's not
you
here.
could ask that for the last several weeks. So I think it's a perfect name. Actually, I think you knocked it out of the park. So, but anyway, yeah. Moving on now. In other news, though, Demaryius Thomas, Pro Bowl wideout for the Broncos, passed away at 33. Died Wednesday. Sad news. Played 9 NFL seasons. Was a Pro Bowl wideout and Super Bowl champion there in Denver. He played 8.5 of those seasons with the Broncos, and during that time, caught 665 passes for 9,055 yards and 60 touchdowns in 125 games with the team. Those numbers rank as far as receptions, third in team history, yardage, and touchdowns, second in team history. So they got a big win Sunday. They had a nice little memorial thing outside of the stadium before the game, and even the what was it they
Started
did on
with
the
10
first play of the
men.
game? Yeah, and
Uh,
left that wideout spot open, and of course was it the Jets they played?
yeah.
Who was it they played? Yeah, and the Jets declined the penalty. That was a classy move, and Peyton Manning and his crew were there too to pay respects. I thought that was pretty neat, but seeing that, I'm not sure what happened. I didn't see anything about
Yeah.
it.
I was very, very surprised here.
Yeah, that's because I mean he was a young guy, 33 years old. Um,
Yeah.
but so that was it was a medical issue, I believe. But yeah, that's never good to hear. But rest in peace, DT. But that made me think, what's the play that we remember him most for? And I'll start, of course. The thing I remember him is the touchdown pass from Tebow to beat the Steelers in the in that first round playoff game. I think it was,
That was a good one.
yeah. I mean that was huge. You know, I can't remember what year that was, 14 or 15, around that time period. But that's what I remember him most for. And of course, his time with Peyton, there was a lot of catches, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot more than he caught with Tebow. Um,
Uh, That's what I remember him for. Whenever I had him in fantasy, I had him and Peyton, and yeah, they scored me lots of points.
I say, did you win your league that year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
I just remember him tossing plenty of touchdowns, plenty of hot routes. It was great.
yeah. Well, rest in peace, DT. Fly high 8-8, and it was cool to see the Broncos get a win too,
No,
just kind of in his honor. But that was a touching thing to talk about. But we'll dive back into we'll go from there to the Urban Meyer and the Jaguars. So as far as first of all, Urban denied the reports about his staff where he referred to them as losers and that, you know, he's a winner. And of course, he denied those
obviously.
reports. Um, so who knows whether or not that's true? Probably is a little bit. But as far as I saw the Jacksonville owner, Shad Khan, coming out and saying, I think he said he's not sure on what they're going to do with Urban, or how they're going to handle. It's kind of a wait and see type of thing. But I mean, should it? I mean, of course, it's a wait and see type of thing. It's like that with anything. But
Yeah.
Did they really expect like a fast turnaround? This is the worst roster in football.
Surely not. I mean, yeah.
I mean, if you really want to think about it, I mean, that people don't, sports writers, etc., NFL execs, they don't want to see Urban succeed. They just don't. They don't want a college guy to come in here or to come in there and start winning games and turn things around. Say what you want about Urban, but he's right. He is a winner, at least at the collegiate level. He's yet to do it at the pros, but who will with that roster? That is the worst roster in pro football.
Did you see the picture? Did you see the footage of him shaking hands after the game? He just looked like completely lost. He didn't even look at the other coach.
I did not
make eye contact.
But I see that's what I'm getting at. If I had to coach this roster, and I'm used to being the winner Urban Meyer is, I would go out and drink like he did too, at the local bars, and that
was it. That was his restaurant, right?
I think so. Now the blondes, dancing on you when you're a married man, that's probably not a good look. But drinking as much as you might need to tolerate coaching that roster and having that type of lack of success is only going to lower your judgment. And yeah, not making an excuse for it, but kind of making an excuse for it.
As long as he's not drinking on the sideline, I think they're good.
Well, I'm just saying he explains it. It explains it. If I had to coach that team, I would need to hit the bottle probably too on my bye week. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was their bye week.
It'd be more in the bye week. And
yeah. I'd probably try to avoid, pulling a Sark at USC, but yeah. Although, yeah, he's it's not looking that great at Texas for him right now. But of course, me being an Arkansas guy, nothing against him, but I can't wish Texas any success.
No.
But okay, moving. Well, we won't move on yet. I mean, could they really expect a fast turnaround with that roster, especially the owner? Can you really expect Urban to turn it around? They're lucky to get 2 wins, and they've been in a lot of these games that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
So I gotta give Urban. I gotta take up for the dude a little bit here.
I fully expected him to, maybe go, be like the Lions, maybe win 1 game. But yeah, they've, like you said, they've won 2 and have actually been competitive. So
my thoughts were if they get to 6 wins in a 17-game season, that's a success.
Week, yeah, against the Titans, they were not competitive.
I think the Titans are one of the best. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, whenever Henry gets back, look out.
Yeah, but but that's a good roster. I mean, and yeah, they're well coached. Vrabel's done a terrific job there. That's a game they shouldn't win, but they've been in, and it wasn't competitive, but it wasn't a massive blowout either. But they've been competitive in a lot of these games they've lost. And you got a rookie quarterback. I mean, I love me some Trevor Lawrence, but he's a rookie quarterback. He's going to make bad decisions. His numbers reflect that. To Shad Khan, don't give in to whatever pressure you're getting from people that want your coach to fail. From execs, sports writers, etc. Don't give in to pressure from people that want to see him fail. Just give the man some time. He's going to need some time to turn that trash roster around. So that's my take on it. And like he's getting it from all ends. You got to let this guy go. It's not working. No, you're not giving him anything to work with. and you're not giving him any time. Give the man some time. And in a couple of years, if you don't see any improvement, a couple of years from now, you don't see any type of improvement in any way, shape, or form, whether it's W's, more competitive games, or anything, then sure, let him go. But as far as I'm concerned, we've already seen improvement. They beat a Dolphins team that they had no business beating. And I can't even remember the other game that they won, but they probably shouldn't have won that one either. So, yeah, give the man some time. But going back to now, we'll go to some good football. The Bucks Bills were the Sunday afternoon game that was very entertaining. But the Bucks pulled it out in overtime. Brady was Brady, marched them down the field at the end. Well, yeah, marched them down the field in one big pass play to Rashad Perryman. But that was a heck of a game. How much of that did you catch?
0. I was traveling back from Florida. I was up in the air. So yeah. Of course, it was a great game.
Yeah, it was a terrific game. It looked, I mean, it looked like the Bucks were going to pull away pretty handily though, but the Bills came back and probably should have won it. Probably
weren't they up 10-0 Bucks?
I believe so, but
yeah,
you know, the Bills marched down the field and were a pass interference call away from getting it at the 1 and then punching it in right before the end of regulation. And it was pass interference. I was okay with it not being called because it wasn't egregious, but it was a penalty. So I can understand why they didn't call it, but it was pass interference. Like if they would have called it, you couldn't dispute it because it was. But of course, the Bills got the ball in overtime, but punted it away, and you punted it to Tom Brady, and the rest is history.
Yeah, don't be surprised what happens.
But I don't have the stats in front of me. But Josh Allen had a heck of a game. Had over 100 yards rushing on a bummed ankle. I think he had about 300 yards passing. He had 1 billion points in fantasy because I played him this week. I think it was 30, or was it?
You played him or played against him?
I played him. So, yeah, it was a rough day for my crew. But, yeah, Josh Allen led the way, had a monster game, had 35 plus fantasy points, and just lit it up. But how good is this dude, though? I mean, he is a terrific young talent. I don't know what they're paying him at 6'7", can run a 4.7 40, and maybe has the strongest arm in football.
Yeah, he's good. I mean,
probably has the strongest arm in football.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're paying him, but they need to pay him about what he wants.
I thought they restructured his contract after last season.
They may have. Like, I don't know if they're paying him. Just make sure you're paying him. Now, not necessarily Patrick Mahomes money, because then you're not going to be able to get anybody in, which the Chiefs started to experience, and that's why they restructured his contract.
Yeah.
But definitely Josh Allen needs to get paid. He wasn't a walking boot after the game. So, I mean, dude is, and he is tough, man. Tough as nails. Like, he is a fun guy to watch. But I think the Bills will be all right as long as he's all right. They'll be fun to watch later on. But going back to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, have they figured it out? I basically kind of wrote them off, but they're in contention for the top seed in the AFC, and I don't know. It looks like they kind of figured it out.
Yeah, and they figured out how to do it without Kelsey, apparently, because he didn't score me anything on fantasy. And how many? Dude, they scored like what, 42? How many points did they score? And like Kelsey didn't even. He only had like 4 catches.
Yeah, they lit it up.
I was highly disappointed.
I changed the channel at like 38-3 or something.
Man.
I think it got that bad. But yeah, I switched it over to the Dallas game, and the Dallas game wasn't even competitive until the final score looked better than the game actually was.
Yeah,
but I switched it over to
the Dallas game was well in hand, but then I had to laugh whenever I tuned back in at the end. I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!"
Yeah, that was Dallas had a little bit of the Vikings in them at the end of that. But then again, Dallas, their offense does not look good. It looked like it was hitting on all cylinders at the beginning of the year, and it looks lost. It
Yeah,
looks lost right now. So I don't know what they have to do, but they got to figure something out. And I mean, it's obvious that Dak isn't the same quarterback without Amari Cooper out there. He's just not. Like Rodgers can go out there without Devontae Adams or whoever and still be Aaron Rodgers. Um, Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill can still be Patrick Mahomes. Brady without Gronk. Now he's not as good. He's not as good without Gronk, but he's still Tom Brady, and he still finds a way to win. Dak isn't the same guy without Amari Cooper.
no,
But Amari, I mean, Amari Cooper did play, scored a touchdown, but they just don't look right to me. That Dallas offense just doesn't look right. That's starting to be, I mean, and they've got, I like Dallas's defense.
the defense looks good, but
Who's that monster defensive end they have? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I mean, he's a star in the making, if not already. But defensively, they should be all right. Now, obviously, the Diggs in the secondary,
yeah,
but yeah, that something's up with that offense. They got to figure something out. We haven't heard as much talk about how great Kellen Moore is ever since, or in the last couple of weeks, and for good reason.
then I mean,
Kellen Moore
hell,
being the Cowboys offensive coordinator.
yeah. I mean, has Zeke been tearing it up? Doesn't seem like he just has great games every week. And he's been injured a little bit. I mean, Pollard's been filling in for him, but
Yeah, Pollard's played very well. I think
yeah,
that's part of it too. Pollard's just getting more carries because he's showing out when he's getting this opportunity. So
well,
that's what it is for me there. But Dallas doesn't look right offensively, but the Chiefs are starting to figure out how to look right offensively. It's only taken them half the season or a little over that at this point. But I mean, they're sitting at, is it 9-4 now?
Dallas.
No, well, I think Dallas is too actually, but um, yeah, I'm talking about the Chiefs. But
Oh, yeah,
the Chiefs look like they're starting to figure it out or have figured it out, and Dallas is looking like they're just holding it together right now. They're kind of they have the same record or pretty close to it, but they're kind of going in different directions as far as progression and regression. Chiefs
yeah.
being the progression, Dallas regressing on offense. But
They have what 3-4 weeks to figure it out. So
a little longer than that, but not much longer. So we'll see what happens. But we'll jump to college football now. Obviously, the big news: Bryce Young winning the Heisman Trophy. Big shocker.
oh my
Um,
god,
yeah, they could have just handed it to him after the Georgia game. Here you go. Just save us the trip. Save us the
yeah.
trip to New York. But so no shocker there. I did like that Will Anderson, the Alabama linebacker, got 31 first place votes. I thought that was interesting. And finished fifth in the voting, finished just shy of making the trip, along with his teammate.
Mhm.
But yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan defensive end, came in second with 78 first place votes. But Bryce Young had 684 first place votes to come out with the Heisman. And the is it Kenny Pickett, the Pitt quarterback that was there too?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, but that's his name, right?
Sure.
Give me a fact check real quick.
Sure.
But did you see his? I mean, he changed the game. He got a college rule
Oh
made
yeah,
a
dude, that was crazy. Within 4 days, they're like, "Yeah, you can't do that crap anymore."
yeah. I mean
It's
that was probably the wild or
too
one
good.
that was one of the wildest things we've seen all year, if not the wildest. But for those that don't know what I'm talking about, Kenny Pickett, the pick quarterback, faked that he was going to give himself up, acted like he was going to slide, and then popped up real quick as he dragged his toe and then just popped right back up when he realized the secondary was letting up because they saw he was about to give himself up, and then he just kept running and picked up a lot more yardage. And so
Could have been the new juke, man.
yeah, the NCAA said, yeah, we can't allow that, which they
It's about to
shouldn't.
get dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which they should not.
yeah, that's
But
counteracting the whole thing we're doing.
yeah, it's making it even less fair for the defense now than it already is. But it
Uh,
was still a super cool thing to
oh
see.
yeah,
It was so cool to see. Um, but yeah, I don't know that's pretty neat to have the year that you have and then have a rule basically created because of you. But all right, we are going to take a break to plug our sponsor a little bit more here. Rhino Races again, rhinoraces.com to for info on that race series. It's a virtual running series that you can complete anytime, anywhere. Just track your races, sign up at rhinoraces.com, register for your face race. They offer five different races, 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and a unique challenge called the Rhino Ultra. Visit rhinoraces.com. You register there on site, sign up for your race, and run it whenever and wherever is convenient for you. Submit your results on the submissions page at rhinoraces.com. I believe it's the submit results page. That's it there. And after proof of your or after proof of completion of your race has been verified by Rhino Races staff, you will be mailed or you will receive your award by mail, whether it's one of the beautiful Rhino Races medals, or if you do the Rhino Ultra, the Rhino Ultra belt buckle, the trophy style belt buckle, the beautiful silver one we showed last week. And we got the other buckle for completing all 5 races here today. But first off, what medal do we have here? We'll describe it for those of us listening elsewhere on Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcast. We have the Rhino Races 10K medal here. As you can see, just as thick as the 5K one we showed last week. That is a beauty. But this is the 10K medal, very similar to the 5K, but obviously says 10K on it. Beautiful little ribbon here. The black and silver, very unique. There's the front, there the back. But black and silver metal, very thick. All that's what's so cool about the awards. Just the metals are very thick and just very unique in that way. You don't see them like that. Definitely not your basic metal. But if you complete all 5 races, got this one all nice and wrapped up here, you will be inducted into the Rhino Races Hall of Fame and receive, upon induction into the Hall of Fame section of their website, you will be shipped the Rhino Races Hall of Fame buckle, and it is a beauty. I don't know if you've seen it, Brad, but that's it there.
dang, is that gold?
Yep,
It is pretty.
right. And super thick as well, but get got a little light glare on it, but that's a good kind of indication of what it looks like. Has the logo there on the front, big Hall of Fame caption there, and of course the trophy style belt buckle. So you can wear it, you can frame it, you can do whatever you want. You've earned it. So rhinoraces.com. Visit that site, learn how you can earn yours. Earn be the key word.
How do you get the shirts?
Oh, the shirt, which I'm wearing. So I'll do a little close up here. I'll go a little slower. This one's showing than last time.
That's too
It's a pretty
fast,
good
man.
shot. But anyway, this is the Navy Rhino Races t-shirt. You can get yours at rhinoraces.com as well. It's $15 right now. So yeah, just put that in your cart along with your race, and you'll receive your items by mail just like that. So and I believe even if you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, you'll get a shirt on them. So we'll have to double check with the staff on that, but I believe that's the case.
So those nice soft cotton tees, or are they like the sportier?
100%. Good question. 100% cotton, soft style t-shirt. So
Sweet.
yeah, it's very soft, very comfortable. I had a hand in that, and one thing you don't want is the itchy tee or a rough tee. Just something that feels heavy and thick. No, very light, 100% cotton, soft style t-shirt. So very nice, very comfortable, very stylish. I love my dark t-shirt, so navy blue, perfect. Of course, that's the logo colors, but looks great on a t-shirt for sure. But
For sure.
yeah, getting back to college football. Other news: Bo Nix leaving Auburn. Announced he was entering the transfer portal, and he is going elsewhere. Where? Has he given any indication of where he's going to go? Or
No. That's I don't know. I seen some articles were like, "Where's he heading?" We've got 3 guesses, but I wasn't that interested to click on them.
yeah,
But I don't know. I did see one of them was like UCF. And I was like, yeah, okay, he's gonna go running back to Gus. Cool, I guess, but whatever.
why is he leaving though? Is he just clashing with Harson?
Ah,
Well, didn't he get benched at some point?
yeah,
Okay, I'm guessing that's what started it. But obviously I don't follow Auburn football very closely, but I mean he's a talented quarterback.
yeah,
I don't think he's going to be a good pro or anything, but he's as a collegiate quarterback, he's a talented quarterback. I think he's now I think he's I naturally don't want to give him a lot of credit because I think he was overhyped as a freshman.
true.
They were talking like he was going to be the next Johnny Manziel or something, and I was like, he's not that good. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not that. He's not a Heisman Trophy winner. Calm down, guys. But I mean, say what you want about Johnny football, but the fellow was electrifying in college. I mean, he was amazing at A&M.
Just watch his highlights versus Alabama. I mean, that's all you gotta see.
Yeah, watch him the entire year. He won the Heisman. I mean,
Yeah,
he was the most electrifying player I'd ever seen in college football to that point. May still be, but and but so Bo Nix wasn't that, and I didn't really want to give him as much credit as he probably deserved just from all those type of comparisons. But yeah, I didn't realize until I had seen that they had benched him, but he came back out and let them down to win a game. I can't remember what game, but it was a little surprising to me to see that he was leaving. But
yeah, I was a little shocked for sure. I mean, considering that his dad played for him and everything else, and Auburn's all about the family thing. But yeah, I wouldn't think he was going to transfer.
yeah, but I could see him going to UCF, I guess. But I mean that he could play. He's better than that.
They're
He could.
talking like, yeah, they're talking like he's going to transfer somewhere in the SEC East, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't know where it would be. Like Florida.
Yeah, maybe.
That would make sense, I would think. Oklahoma. That's the thing. When do Texas and Oklahoma join? Is it next year?
No, they haven't set a year yet. I think it's just whenever the money works.
I thought they did. I thought they did announce when it would be.
Oh, I didn't. I don't know. I just heard it was going to be before 2025.
Yeah, that could be true. We'll get our research team on that, everybody.
They're
we'll
working around the clock. So.
Yeah, but yeah, I could see. I mean, Florida could use a quarterback, but then again, I don't know. I don't know, man. That might be a good fit. Maybe they're not far off on the UCF predictions. Just at a bigger school in state.
Yeah.
The state school. You know, not Florida State, but the other one.
Yeah.
The Gators. But that could be an interesting scenario. But so, in other news, college football news, Oregon hired Georgia's defensive coordinator as their next head coach. Dan Lanning is his name. He's a 35-year-old coach, young guy. And that is a different direction than what we usually see out of Oregon, hiring a defensive minded guy, but kind of following the Oklahoma trend. Although Oregon's not jumping ship and going to the SEC, but maybe they're wanting to counter Lincoln Riley's offense. That's going to be coming with USC. I don't know, but probably a good hire. We'll see. Time will tell. But I don't know anything about the guy, but I know Georgia's defense has been stout all year, minus the Alabama game. But the big thing from that with me was Chip Kelly got permission from UCLA to talk to Oregon about the head coaching vacancy before Oregon hired Lanning. And that would have been interesting to see Chip Kelly go back to Oregon. I was kind of rooting for it at the same time. I don't know that it would have.
Yeah,
he would have had the same success.
He just got it. Yeah, he just got it going at UCLA. Yeah. He shouldn't.
How did they finish this year? UCLA. They looked really good at the start.
Didn't they finish with like 7 wins, 6 wins?
Then they may have got to 6 but I mean, yeah, that's they looked really good at the start, but that's the thing. I don't think he can out recruit Riley in the same city, not at SC, but
yeah.
Yes, I can understand why he would want to go to Oregon. At the same time, Chip Kelly doesn't like to recruit. He hates to recruit. So
they finished 8-4.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty solid year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they looked good at times. They looked good against LSU in that week 1 game, I believe it was. And that's back when, and LSU was the best 6-win team in the country. I mean, the games that they lost, they were in just about every game. I don't know if they were in a game that they got handily beat. But I don't know. It's he'll do okay at UCLA, but it would have been intriguing to see him go back to Oregon for sure. I'm guessing they didn't want to pay what he was interested in to leave LA,
So was Dan Lanning, was he the one that they were in the press conference? They're like, so you don't have any head coaching experience? And he was like, well, no, I was the head coach of a 3rd grade basketball team, and we were pretty dang good.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Dan Lanning other than he's Georgia's defense.
If that's the guy, yeah, I think he's pretty cool.
Is he still with Georgia though? Is he still with the team?
I figure they'll let him do the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. that kind of goes back to the other thing, like finish what you started, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, so that would have been interesting to see Chip Kelly go to Oregon, but probably the right move to stay at UCLA because he wouldn't have been able to do what he did the first time around, in my opinion. But
No.
we'll never know that. But we'll jump back from that to pro football with the latest game that took place last night, the Monday Night Football game. Uh,
It was a good one.
yes, Cardinals and Rams. That was
Uh,
an NFC West matchup. That was an interesting game. It was very entertaining. Uh, some of the I don't know who this guy is on Snapchat, or not Snapchat, but TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
no.
All right. Well, it took me forever to get on TikTok, and now I've been like, what have I been missing this whole time? Like, it's just I'll sit there and just kill time, just sitting there, just looking at videos, just because it's super entertaining. There's a
Yeah.
reason it's huge, but if you get on TikTok, I can still send you this guy's videos that I've saved, but he's so entertaining. His commentary, um, he does it like every game. He did it like for this game last night. He's like, look, Kyler Murray coming out here throwing these darts at 5-1. You know, it's just it's like that. But it's
Uh,
stuff like that, and he does it way better than me, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna have to send you the video. But it was an entertaining game. James Conner had a monster game. Another guy I played against in fantasy. Uh, yeah, so that was fun. But Odell Beckham looked good. He had a good game. I think he's basically just a real solid number 2 at this point in his career. He is with the Rams anyway. Nice job on the mute button, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah, good job. Uh, Bradley just let out a heck of a sneeze,
It was a good one.
but y'all didn't hear it because we were on top of that with the mute button, or he was.
Yeah, I don't want to blow out anybody's eardrums.
Yeah, they appreciate that, but I do too. But Cooper Cup, man, I did not. Just looking at the stats, I figured he was kind of a product of Stafford in that offense. But watching him last night, man, he was incredible.
That one pass where I mean, it was just that short out route where he caught it and then, ran around one blocker and then the guy's coming in and he just hurtled the guy like
Yeah,
split second.
Yeah, it was like the weirdest little hurdle. It was
Dude.
he had no time to hurdle him, but found a way to hurdle him. And the way he caught it in stride, was such a not easy thing to do. I mean, you got to be a football player, just a
Dude,
good football player.
I still can't get over that last touchdown catch that he had.
Yeah, he's a
Stafford threw it in like the only spot. Like that's it. Like it was like the target was like just as big as the ball, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the dude.
That's why they
Stupid.
make people wonder, like, why do football players get paid so much? Because they can do that.
But yeah, who would ever even think about fitting that ball in there, man?
Yeah,
serious.
Because they can. Why do quarterbacks get paid what they get paid? Because they can do that. because they can do that and you can't. And
yeah,
that's why. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's a $9 billion plus per year industry. If the players don't get the money, guess who's going to get that money? The owners. And who do you want making the money? Yeah, you want the owners to get theirs, but you want the players, the people out there making that product what it is. You want them to get paid, especially considering what their bodies go through in order to do it. So, yeah, that's why they get paid what they get paid, people that have a problem with that. My little brief rant.
Those people probably don't listen to our podcast, but
yeah, it's true. That's a fair point. But I'm still going to rant at them a little bit. But I don't know. Beckham looked good, man. He looked like he's kind of found a spot. I think McVay's kind of made it a point to let's get this guy involved.
Yeah.
Although they've had to at this point with the injuries, Robert Woods being out for the year. I like Van Jefferson. I like him as a wideout for the Rams. I did not realize though his dad was on the sideline or the other sideline as the Cardinals receivers coach.
Really?
Yes. So
I missed that.
yeah,
Of course, I miss a lot of things, but
yeah, well, and I believe and he was Van Jefferson's dad was the receivers coach for the Lions when Calvin Johnson was there, and I think Calvin Johnson said he was the best receivers coach he'd ever had. So, yeah, but it was pretty cool because when Van Jefferson caught a touchdown, he caught a touchdown pass on a deep ball, and they, of course, flashed the camera over to the sideline, and his dad is over there like throwing a fit about it, just obviously griping. Although I don't know how it was necessarily related to his squad being the wide receiver coach, but it was just kind of funny. Like my son scored, but my team didn't. So I mean, that's got to be like mildly conflicting, I guess. Although I'm sure he's like, I'm glad my kid did that. But I was very impressed. I was most impressed with Cooper Kupp after that game. Yes, Stafford improves his numbers and his situation, of course, because Stafford is a Hall of Fame quarterback, just a multi-million-dollar arm. But yeah, Cooper Kupp, just the catches he made and how elusive he is and how he can avoid defense. He's a magician with the ball in his hands. Very impressive. Very impressed with him. And I wasn't going to ask this question, but it made me think earlier today. Who would you say is the best receiver in the NFL right now, and who would you take over Cooper Kupp right now?
I mean, hell, dude, right now you have to go with Cub. I mean, hell, he's the top receiver right now.
Statistically, I mean, there are some I would take over him.
But
I'd take Mike Evans over him. I would take Devontae Adams. I would take Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's the best running back for the 49ers and receiver.
yeah.
I mean, seriously, I would take those three over him, but I don't think I'd take anybody else. And I think that's pretty high praise in itself. If you're in my top 4,
Yeah.
he's easily got the best numbers. But let's see. I mean, Garoppolo isn't Rodgers or Stafford. I like Garoppolo. I think he's better than people give him credit for. But when he's healthy, he just can't stay healthy. He throws a beautiful ball.
And he's the quarterback who Tom Brady's that guy comment was about, right?
I don't know the comment, but I mean, he was Brady's backup for a while there in New England. But probably is that's probably the case. But yeah, and so Deebo Samuel has Garoppolo. Of course, Devontae Adams has Rodgers. You can't get any better than that. And Mike Evans has the GOAT throwing him the football. But Mike Evans is just he's uncoverable. He's huge. He can jump. I would probably, if I'm picking a wideout, I'd probably take Mike Evans over all of them. But probably Deebo Samuel if I'm drafting a wideout, and then probably Devontae Adams, and then probably Cooper Kupp right after that.
Go ahead and fill out your top 5. Why don't you?
I don't know who I'd take at 5. That's the thing. I don't really know who I would take it, but I'd have to like look at the list. Nobody just like really sticks out.
No.
But I mean, Godwin in Tampa Bay is really good. I don't think he's top 5, but he's really good.
No.
Uh, yeah, I'd have to think on that one. I think Michael Pittman Jr. with Indy is pretty solid. I mean, is a very good receiver. I don't know that he's 5, but he's top 15. He could fit in the Rhino race's top 15. Baby. I'm sure the mic caught me slurping that
Yeah.
A&W Zero Sugar Root beer, but it was delicious. I make no apologies. But yeah, Cooper Cup is really good. Basically, that was a long way of me saying Cooper Cup is really good. So, but we'll we'll jump sports real quick. We'll hop over to some pro hoops. Literally nothing really has changed in the NBA since we last spoke about it a week ago. The records are or the standings are all the same. Brooklyn's atop the East. Chicago and Milwaukee aren't far behind them. Golden State's a top seed in the West. Suns aren't far behind them. Then there's Utah, being Utah.
Has Curry broke the record yet?
He did. He broke it tonight.
Dang.
So that's news.
Hey, and the Lakers finally figured out. I think they finally figured out that Westbrook's not going to work. So I've
Yeah.
seen some trade rumors online for him. So yeah,
So
that's
what?
about all.
What?
I don't know.
Now
I didn't have.
their standings with the Lakers hasn't changed. They're still 6th in the West, although they are 2 games over 500 at 15 and 13. So, and I think they're on a 2-game winning streak. So they're not 12 and 12 anymore since we last spoke to you all last Tuesday. But it is, yeah. As far as the rumors go, I haven't looked into it at all. But yeah, it's clearly not working. I mean, I could have told you that wasn't going to work. You could have told everyone that wasn't going to work. But did you look into it much at all? Any speculation on where he may go?
No. No.
Well, all right then. I guess we'll wait and see as far as that's concerned.
Maybe they should. Yeah, I think they should ship him off to the Nets and bring Kyrie in. That way, the big three can be reunited in Brooklyn, and freaking Kyrie and LeBron can be reunited in LA.
Yeah, Kyrie wouldn't want to do that. He's like,
Well, it's
yeah,
well, he better take a job if somebody offers it.
well, I don't know. Kyrie is he's an interesting cat, man.
Yeah.
He used to be my favorite player, but he's
Uncle
just
Drew.
I don't know. He's a weird cat, man.
Yeah.
But I know he don't want to play with LeBron. I know that.
No, he
But
don't want.
how much of the going to college hoops now? How much of the Arkansas Oklahoma game did you catch Saturday?
The first half, and it was god awful. And
Mm.
then I went to the airport and tried to fly out, but I couldn't. I ended up not being able to fly out that day. And by the time I got back to Luke's place, it was already over.
Well, it
And
was
I heard they
pretty
came back to
bad.
get close, and then
They got
of
it to
course
3, I think, 3 or 5, and then ended up losing by
20,
22. No, it was 22, I think.
22. Yeah,
Yeah,
terrible.
88-66
To an
Oklahoma.
unranked. Yeah, we should have dropped out of the top 25, but somehow we didn't.
Because they were ranked like 10th or 12th or something. And but yeah, I mean they got stomped.
Yeah.
They made Oklahoma
Hope,
look like the number 1 team in the country. They
yeah,
made
hopefully
Oklahoma look
they
like Baylor last year.
Yeah, hopefully they treat it as a wake up call. Well, they should, but hopefully they treat it as a huge wake up call.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think Muss said it was the worst defense he'd ever seen since his time there, which was the case.
Yeah.
They looked terrible defensively. They could not throw in the ocean toward the end of the game. I mean, they showed fight getting back into it, but they quickly just gave it back up, and I think they realized it wasn't going to happen. And then it just got out of hand. The Oklahoma post player who just looks like who got a guy who's on team one of your fraternity's intramural league. Can't remember the guy's name, but their post player he just lit them up. So that's what it looked like to me. He looked like a guy that would be on team one of your intramural squad in your fraternity. That's what it looked like to me. But like he might have been the 5 for the Pikes there at Oklahoma or something. Who knows? But we'll jump sports now. We'll hop into boxing. There's a big fight Saturday, whether we want to admit it or not. It's a big fight Saturday. Jake Paul makes his return to fight Tyron Woodley in a rematch of their August 29th fight, which Paul won via split decision. Although, if you watch the fight, I don't see how you could score it for Woodley. I mean, Jake Paul won the fight pretty handily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Woodley looked all right. I mean, looked better than anybody else did against him, but Jake Paul clearly won the fight. Although that's just boxing,
Yeah.
But did watching Paul was supposed to fight Tommy Fury on Saturday, which is the younger brother of Tyson. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's like stepbrother or half brother of Tyson Fury. Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually fought on the undercard of Paul Woodley won. So I didn't know that till
I didn't either.
digging into the research, which he won. I think Fury was 7-0, but with like 2 knockouts or something like that. But he withdrew from the fight earlier this month due to medical reasons. Jake Paul got on his Twitter and was very Jake Paul about it in front of the camera. Yeah. Say what you say what you want about the guy, like him or not, but the dude knows how to sell a fight, and they both do. I mean, him and his brother both. It's whatever they're doing, man. It's working. They're making money. Like that, they're winning in the ring. Logan's not, but I mean, he also fought Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
But they're winning in money pouring in for sure. So I mean, those guys are doing something right. Like them or not, I don't necessarily see what everybody else sees as far as not liking them. I can kind of see how they would rub some people the wrong way, just with the trash talk and all that. But it makes it more fun to me. Like I'm intrigued by it. I wouldn't be interested if it was just these plain boxers.
I don't have a problem with it as long as they don't call it professional boxing. Man, just call it celebrity boxing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that point.
That's my problem with it. Is like I'm a professional boxer. You're like, technically, yes, you're getting paid to fight, but you're not on the same level as a professional boxer.
Yeah, you're not going out and fighting Canelo or
dude.
Nor should
you're not
he.
fighting. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. They know that. They know that we're not going to go step in there and get annihilated. Like we're gonna.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah.
But Logan is a big guy. Like I mean, the Pauls are pretty big guys. I don't know their exact height and weight and all that, but I think Logan Paul knew like it's going to be hard for Floyd Mayweather to knock me out.
Yeah, they ain't small.
Like I'm going to lose the fight, but he ain't going to knock me out, and I'm going to get mine in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mayweather could have had a horseshoe in his glove and still could have knocked that dude out.
Well, yeah, I mean, just Mayweather's always had brittle hands. I mean, he's probably the best boxer ever, or at least he's up there. It's it's him or Ali as far as I'm concerned, and I think Mayweather's got an argument. But I mean, the best boxer in the world right now is, I mean, you could say Terrence Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez is about as good as anybody, and Mayweather, that was one of his easiest fights. So I think it was 11-1 was, and they called that a split decision. So that's how much of a joke the scoring is in boxing. Of course, you and I were there for the
Yeah,
Pacquiao Bradley
Bradley.
robbery.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. That was
Yeah. I mean, it's just damaging to the sport. But see, that's the thing. I mean, it's you can talk about don't call it professional boxing, but look at how goofy professional boxing can be. You know what I
true.
mean? So I think you gotta tip your hat a little bit to these guys for at least being smart with getting paid and getting the fighters paid. That's the thing. Like Ben Askren walked in looking like a built like a bag of milk, as whatever commentator said that, and of course got knocked out early against Jake. But he also got knocked out and went home with a big bag of money.
Yeah,
As will anybody who's fighting these guys. So it's not just them. It's not just the Pauls getting paid. The other guys are too. So I think it's I think it's good for the sport what they're doing, and I'm intrigued by it. I don't remember. I watched Lomachenko fight Teofimo Lopez, I think is his name, where he got upset by him. But that was the last fight I've been intrigued by. It's been, it's been the Pauls the last couple of fights have been something have been the only thing the sport has intrigued me about. So I don't know. They're doing something right. They're controversial. They rub people the wrong way, but they know that and they own it and they capitalize on it.
and
And
they're putting out the volume, man. Like they're not. I mean, hell, good boxing pay-per-views are only what once, twice a year. I mean, they've already put out what three just from the summer. I mean, through the fall, or
well,
they've done three or four, right?
well, I think this will be three. Jake fought Woodley and Logan Paul fought Mayweather, which was I didn't pay for any of the fights.
No, me neither.
I just YouTube it, like, oh, it's over. All right, let me YouTube it. And because I expect Jake to win this fight too. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I'm not gonna hate on dudes for going and getting their money.
No,
So yeah, go get your money. And I mean, they're entertaining, whether we want to necessarily admit it or not. I don't have a problem admitting it, but uh anyway, yeah, it should be interesting for sure. I'll at least YouTube it this weekend for sure. But jumping still in combat sports, but going to the UFC now. We'll do a short recap of what we took away from over the weekend. Dustin Poirier, lost via submission to, I don't even know how to say the guy's name, the current UFC champion of whatever weight class that is, but he submitted
Oliveira,
Poirier. What?
Oliveira.
Sure. We'll go with that. I mean, Bruce Buffer said it great, but he like yelled it.
Yeah, he gets paid millions of dollars to say it great. So
Yeah, true that. But anyway, it looked like a good fight. Poirier getting submitted in the third, a little over a minute into the third round. But the biggest takeaway from that pay per view was Amanda Nunez losing.
yeah, I was surprised. I was shocked to read that headline.
Yeah, that was wild. I did not see her losing any. I mean, she's held the two belts for a while now, but she is a monster. I did not see anybody coming close to beating her. But that's the thing. It's not like Juliana Pena just snuck in a rear naked choke on her or something. It's not like she just got lucky and found an opening and took it. She hurt Nunez in that second round. I mean, she was beating her up and then submitted her. But I mean, you watch the highlights of that round. I mean, Nunez is getting hurt. Just straight punches to the face is getting hurt. I did not you don't imagine that happening to her. But people said that too about Ronda Rousey back when she was the biggest star in the sport, which really brings me to my big question. Um, what was the bigger upset in your mind? Pena or beating Nunez Saturday, or Rousey getting knocked out by Holm?
I mean, I could see where people would say it would be Rousey getting knocked out by Holm, because it changed the game, it opened it up. But for me, dude, it's got to be Nunez, man. Like, she wasn't off. She hasn't been off shooting freaking action movies in the off season while she's supposedly training for these fights. I mean, yeah, Ronda Rousey was off doing all kinds of other curricular activities other than training for fighting. Nunez, yeah, I did not expect to see that. For
I
me, it'd be that one.
I agree with that, and here's why. On top of that, Rousey is a submission specialist. Judo's her thing. Armbar. She beat you with an armbar. She gets you an armbar, you tap. If you try to get in a fist fight with her, you're gonna stand a chance. As
Yeah.
Holly Holm, who just got inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, by the way. Yeah, Rousey tried to strike with her. How much sense does that make?
Zero.
Yeah, there's a reason you got your head kicked off. Just about.
Yeah, that fight was over pretty quick too. Freaking.
Yeah, but well, on top of that, I mean, we saw what Nunez did to Rousey and everybody else prior to Juliana Pena. That's the thing. Nunez just looked like no woman alive
Scary. Yeah.
could beat her. She was a machine.
Looked like that week 1, week 2 Georgia defense. Freaking.
Yeah,
Unbeatable.
yeah, but it was that was a huge upset to me, like looking and seeing that. And I was actually out at a restaurant Saturday, and like I was looking at my app just and I saw that Nunez I think was 21-4 going into the fight. And I remember saying to the person next to me, I was like, wow, I didn't know Nunez lost 4 fights, just thinking that was pretty wild in itself. And then I see later on that night she had lost. I was like, wow. So, yeah, to me, that's the bigger upset. I agree with that. But anyway, that's our cap of combat sports, or our coverage of combat sports from over the weekend. I don't know what all is going on this coming weekend as far as that goes, but any big news, we'll have it for you. And I'll close out with dropping a rest in peace to my fantasy team, Josh Jacobs Ladder. We got it handed to us. 167-103 was the final score. I had the pleasure of going up against a team that had Josh Allen, James Conner, and Devontae Adams on their team, each of whom dropped at least 33 points on me. Oh, and the guy had Mark Andrews, the leading tight end of the league by far this season, who decided to put up 28.5 points on me as if that wasn't enough. But anyway, I would have missed the playoffs regardless, even if the other crew didn't show out. But shout out to Jamar Chase with his 25 points and Justin Tucker for his 15 for trying to give me a chance. But starting Alexander Madison wasn't a good call, and Kirk Cousins was very Kirk Cousins as my quarterback with my 14 points compared to Josh Allen's 30 something plus. But anyway, better luck next year, guys. Probably be a different team name because, I don't know. You know how it goes. But anyway, any closing remarks, Brad?
Yeah, I'm also going to throw out another RIP to my team, Dude Where's Lamar, our guest speaker last week, Luke. Man, he crushed me 189 to 128.
Oof.
Oh yeah, he had Brady 34 points, and Adams 34 points, and Kittle 35 points.
Whew. I
Yeah,
didn't realize George
it
Kittle
was
had such
it
a.
was great. And
Yeah.
then of course, you throw in me having Mr. Jackson starting. Oh, he only got me 1.18 points. Hooray! Oh, and Kelsey lit it up with 5.7. He's been a big dud this year. So
Yeah, he's not exactly lit it up.
and
At least the way he's
yeah,
capable.
I did have one team that won this week. Too bad we've been out of it for a while now. I wanted to make my record 6-8. So woohoo!
Yeah, we
It's
finished
been
at
rough,
6-8.
man. After winning one, finishing in second in another, and finishing in third in another last season. Man, it's been rough.
Yeah, we better luck next year. We'll be in the consolation round. Of course, I'll make sure they're playing that week. That's the extent of which I'll pay attention to it. But I play the same guy, so that's the thing. He at least didn't make the playoffs. Like neither of us would have made the playoffs anyway because the guy we were hoping would lose ended up winning. So it was sort of for nothing, but there was like sitting at 7-7 looked better at than 6-8 to me. But better luck next year. So rest in peace, Josh Jacobs ladder. And the name of your team was?
Dude, where's Lamar?
That's right. So
And my other one was kick his ass, P-Bass. And yeah, they did the opposite this season.
Yeah. they got it kicked.
Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. But anyway, you can pay a lot of money to a therapist, or you can just say it'd be like that sometimes. And then
Be
boom.
like that sometimes.
All right. Well, that concludes episode 10 of Shoe Booty Sports, ladies and gents. We'll be back next Tuesday with all your latest sporting news, etc., and even some little whatever on the side. But till next time, Shoe Booty Sports is out. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts as well. We'll be live with this episode.
4 of them.
Yeah. Well, YouTube as well. Yeah. They know that, though.
So many.
Heck yeah. We're everywhere, baby. All right. Till next time.
Do you?
She thick.